Hello and welcome to Mr. Geopolitics. Today is September the 16th, and we're going to be talking about all the latest developments in Ukraine. Now, at the city of Kupiansk, we're getting some reports that the Ukrainians have actually crossed the Oskil River and are now on the east side of the river, but there hasn't been any visual confirmation yet or any real confirmation, so we're going to keep track of that. The Ukrainians have recently bombed a power station in the Belgorod region of Russia, and that is apparently for revenge over what the Russians did recently, destroying several power plants in Ukraine. Although it could hardly be called proportional, because at one point, a third of Ukraine was in the dark, and Belgorod is just a small little oblast in Russia. Anyways, partisan activity has picked up in Ukraine recently. In the last couple days, the last day or so actually, the Ukrainians they have killed the prosecutor general, I believe, and his deputy in Lugansk region. In Mariupol, west of Mariupol, Berdansk. The deputy head of the military administration for housing and communal services, Ole Boyko, and his wife, Ludmila, who headed the city election commission for the referendum, were killed. So this is kind of a touchy subject. The Ukrainians will say that they're collaborators, but at the same time they're civilians, so it could be thought of as a terrorist attack, because they are civilians at the end of the day. They're working in the civil service industry. So we all know that the Russians attacked a dam in Kryvyi Rih recently. And after that, they attacked a dam just north of that. This has exacerbated the flooding situation. The Inglis River the water has basically been elevated, and essentially now a large number of Ukrainian troops are stranded in Suki-Stavok, in the Suki-Stavok region. Basically, the Ukrainians had pontoon bridges they were using, but they've been flooded now. They recently sent a helicopter to rescue the wounded from Suki-Stavok, but the situation remains precarious here. The Ukrainians haven't really been able to advance anywhere. They've basically been stuck here, and the Russians keep pounding their positions. There are some settlements here, but they're really just what you would call hamlets, tiny settlements that are no more than a street or two streets. In the US, you might call these road stops. But anyways, some of them have a few dozen houses, but apparently all along the front line, all of these settlements are either abandoned or they have been destroyed. So another thing I should mention is that at Izium, which was recently liberated by the Ukrainians, the Ukrainians have found a mass grave, and this mass grave it is filled with the bodies of Ukrainian soldiers and people that the Russians killed, maybe partisans or whatnot. But anyways, they're calling this the second Bucha, even though in Bucha, yes, there were civilians killed, but It's controversial because in the first few days of fighting, the Ukrainians called upon the civilian population to fight the Russians. They gave instructions on how to make Molotov cocktails, and when a civilian engages soldiers, throws a Molotov cocktail at soldiers, they are actually engaging in warfare. So they are at that point considered an armed combatant, according to the Geneva Convention. So basically, according to international law, the soldiers have a right to defend themselves. So it's pretty controversial. Other than that, the lines are mostly stable in Ukraine. Several Ukrainian attempts at offensives have failed. Right around here, the Ukrainians actually tried, I think it was 2 days ago now, they tried an amphibious assault. They tried landing troops here, and it was 150 troops, and the assault failed, much like the amphibious assaults on Zaporizhia. So the Ukrainians haven't had much luck with amphibious raids. And recently the Ukrainians have bombed an administrative building in Kherson, and several civilians were maimed and killed. I'll leave a link for that video in the description. It's very graphic. The video is age restricted, but basically using the HIMARS rockets, the Ukrainians bombed the administrative building. Again, this could be thought of as a terrorist attack because yes, they're collaborating with the Russians, but they're basically civil servants. You're attacking civil servants. You're attacking pencil pushers, right? You're attacking office workers who have no way of defending themselves. They're not armed. They don't have weapons. So controversial, yes, but if you think this war is black and white, then you need a wake-up call. You should watch that video. Anyways, other than that, there's another video which is really interesting I posted on my channel. Putins Chef. And yes, he's actually Putins Chef. Maybe not full-time chef, but they call him Putins Chef because he lavishes Putin with really lavish meals whenever he visits him. So he's called Putins Chef. Prigozhin. It seems like he's on a tour. He's going to different jails in Russia, penitentiaries, and he's basically offering them a deal, saying that if you fight in the Azov battalion, because he's a multimillionaire, he runs the Azov battalion, which is a Russian, it's called PMC no, not fucking Azov, Wagner. He runs the Wagner group, PMC Wagner. They're called Private Military Company Wagner. They're Russian mercenaries. They fought all over the world, in Syria, in Africa, Libya. Anyways, he's basically telling these jailbirds, if you fight for me for 6 months after your training, you will be pardoned. You get to go home. Or after 6 months, you can stay in Wagner and we will pay you. But desertion, for those who try to desert, you get a bullet in the head. Raping and pillaging, you get a bullet in the head. He says basically, our soldiers don't get captured. You have 2 grenades. If you get captured, we will teach you how to use those grenades. One for your enemy, one for you. If you get killed, you get buried in the Valley of Heroes. In Russia, there are, in the cemeteries, there are areas specifically designated for war veterans, people killed in combat, people killed in war. So he's giving them a choice. Do you want to rot away in this prison and be forgotten? Or come out an old man and be a nobody? Or would you rather fight for your freedom and fight for your country at the same time? And you can basically, if you die, you will die a hero. Your family can say, my son was a war hero, not a piece of shit who who's rotting away in prison, a rapist, a killer, or whatever. So he's giving them a second chance, and he says, I give you 5 minutes to think about it. That's it. I'm not going to come back tomorrow. You can't get this deal after. You got 5 minutes to think about it. And he tells them straight how it is. He gives it to them straight. He says, I'm not looking for people to operate drones. I'm not looking for people to operate equipment. I'm not looking for techies. I'm looking for stormtroopers. I'm looking for people that specialize in basically taking over a city, guerrilla fighting, that sort of thing. So I'll leave a link for that in the description. You should watch it. It's really interesting. Aside from that, yeah, the lines are stable and not that much more info for you. So hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.